Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together, talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
My initials are JVC, because I'm unbreakable.
And I am Runnells.
Welcome to episode 325, WWF Monday Night RAW.
Will it be?
Kaboom!
Will it be raw?
So this is the 281st episode of Raw, produced by WWF. It would take place on October 12th, 1998, from the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Uniondale, New York, with an attendance of 10,632 people and a TV rating of 4.8.
Dang.
In comparison, Nitro had a 4.6 the same night, where they saw Sting and Warrior team up versus the NWO.
I mean, Sting and Warrior teaming up for the first time since what, like 82?
Something, yeah.
That's kind of neat historically, but...
The Blade Runners reunited, huh?
Yeah, but I can't imagine that, I would be tuning into that show.
Maybe 10 years earlier?
I mean, for context...
maybe had I seen them as a tag team other than just in pictures, but yeah, I don't know.
This is the first time we've covered all four Raws between pay-per-views, correct? Three, okay. Still.
But yes, first the entire TV run between
pay-per-views.
Yeah. We've got
which
a
is
Federation non-stop show going on here.
Crazy, because we've never done that for WCW, and I can't imagine that we will.
No, I think if we were to, those days are gone.
And were they ever around? Did they ever
there's
exist?
like an entire week, like a Nitro Thunder and a Nitro that we cover at some point on the schedule.
That was more than I was expecting.
But
it's probably more for historical reasons, which I guess this is too, but probably for negative reasons as opposed to positive ones. Is my guess.
I mean, I guess we'll find out when we get to it.
Yeah, it might be the only Thunder we watch, who knows?
I mean,
we haven't got there yet.
I know we don't watch very many. We watched the very first one.
Yeah, for historical reasons. It's in the name of the show.
Exactly. But we are in Uniondale, New York.
We are.
So Shane, did you do what you do?
Oh, I did. Did I ever? I did. Yes, Uniondale, which I guess is part of Long Island. Did I read that right?
Yeah, it's like west of the city, or east of the city, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But before you get to like Flushing and all that stuff.
So I was trying to understand that if it was the way I was reading it right, because it said something about it being I don't remember the word it used, but a something of Long Island. So I was like, all right, well, I'll look up Uniondale, and I couldn't really find many things that were exclusive to Uniondale. So I looked up New York, and I found a lot of things that are exclusive to New York. But we've had a lot of them, and in the time constraints that I had, there wasn't really the ability to do many of them. So I looked into Long Island, and boom, the first thing I found, I mean, I thought about doing a Long Island tea, but I think I've done one of those before. I can't remember for sure.
That's a lot of
I want to say I did. And,
and this is an ECW or WCW.
Yeah.
So we probably don't need it.
No. And then I thought of something, what could I do that has to do with, like, Matt Cardona or Zack Ryder, because, he's the Long Island Iced Z and whatnot. But I continued on, and I just looked up popular foods from Long Island, and the first thing that popped up was a viral sensation that happened last year or the year before, something like that, known as the Pickle Witch. The concept is basically taking a large pickle and using it as a bun for a sandwich. Apparently there was a place in Long Island called Seven Brothers Gourmet Food Market in Oceanside, Long Island. They began selling pickle sandwiches in January, I think, of last year, possibly. Yeah, because this says something about 2024. In January, and their offering went viral on TikTok over the summer. This caused such a boom in business that their orders for buckets of pickles quadrupled. This Long Island deli's popularity with the concept likely influenced Jimmy John's, the national sandwich chain, to launch their own version and call it the Pickle Witch as a limited time offering in October of 2024. I mean, it's not known if Seven Brothers for sure is the first one to put it on the market.
It might not be the originator,
yes,
but they're the ones that made it be known.
That let everybody know, hey, this is what we do and this is what you can do. So I decided, all right, we'll figure something out for the Oklahoma City market. And Michael has this little sandwich place down the road from him called Pickleman's. So I figured we'll go to Pickleman's because they've got sandwiches there and they have pickles. But apparently pickle is more in their name than it is in their actual pickles because their little pickles are just teeny tiny pickles and could not be used for buns. But luckily, there's Jimmy John's down the road that I was able to go to and buy 3 pickles and even ask them if they still made the sandwich, which they don't, but they were excited that I was making it myself. So I went to Pickleman's, got what's known as the hodgepodge. It has capicola, turkey, maybe salami.
Yeah, I think salami or pepperoni. It's probably salami.
Yeah, there's some good 3 or 4 meats in there. A little bit of lettuce, a little bit of tomato, some mayonnaise, and then I did what Seven Brothers Gourmet Foods did with theirs, and hollowed out the center of it, just kind of scooped out the seed portion, and just picked up the sandwich off the Pickleman bun and put it on this ginormous Jimmy John's pickle. I haven't got to take a bite yet. Matt and Mike have both gone already, so I'm hoping that means it was worth it. But yeah, if you've, growing up, I was known as the Pickle Man. I mean, yeah, it's before I shouldn't say before I knew I was gay. I knew I was back then. But going into Casey's as a 5th or 6th grader and buying a pickle every single day, they started referring to me as Pickle Man Shane. And I guess maybe I could have used that for my name today. I didn't think about that until I'm saying this just now. But yeah, pickles were always a thing for me. But I've never actually taken part in this little viral sensation, so here I am. I joined Facebook 4 years later than everybody else did. I guess I'm trying this about a year later.
You might try to eat it over this napkin because it is a little juicy.
A little juicy?
And you don't want to, get it all over your shorts.
Get my pickle juice all over my pants?
Nah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll do what I do. Let me move my phone out of the way so I don't drip pickle juice all over it. But we'll take a bite of this in front of the microphone because that's what I do, and that's why you listen. So here we go. 1, 2, 3.
It's a loud one.
It's a big crunch. Big crunch.
I will say, very good. But when you get towards the end of that sandwich, the sodium intake is a little heavy. Where I'm like, damn, this is good. But
I probably could have hollowed it out a little bit more, but I just scoop the seeds out. So I'm like, I'm in a hurry.
This is also,
and I'm hungry.
I feel like that the idea of the trend is good because, if you like pickles, good to go. But it's obviously lower calorie than bread.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's the health aspect of it, although the sodium intake is probably a little high.
Probably a little bit.
A little bit, but...
just drink water the rest of the day. You got free Gatorade.
Typically, people will get a pickle with their sandwich that they eat on the bread. So, either way, they're getting that sodium intake. They're doing it with minus some of the carbs and whatever else is inside the bread that a lot of times isn't good for you.
I did quite enjoy it. I will ask you guys, what would be the perfect sandwich to be on the pickle? Is it just kind of a Italian sub, kind of like what this was? Or is there something that would be great on a pickle?
Most likely just a regular Italian. I mean, I could see maybe a spicy Italian, throwing some capicola and pepperoni.
Yeah. Like a California club would be weird. Like avocado on a pickle would be bizarre.
See, my thought is just take a hamburger, put it on there. Because, burger, mustard, pickle, onion, tomato, that's typically what I put on there.
Make it
just
even more New York.
Open-faced.
Do chopped cheese on inside of a pickle.
You could do, a BLT on a pickle would be good.
Yeah.
I don't know, bacon, I feel like that would be a little bit too much.
You'd probably put more than 2 strips of bacon and if you loaded it up real big, I think it might work.
Possibly.
But yeah, it would be. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this was, like I said, this was good. But I was just like, what else? What other kind of sandwich would you put on there? Like roast beef in a pickle doesn't sound very good.
No.
Actually, it is.
What is it?
There used to be a thing that we'd make back in the day where we take a pickle, you take some of your like lunch meat, roast beef, and you'd smear cream cheese on it, and then you'd roll that around a pickle and cut it into slices.
Nice.
Something about the combination of roast beef, cream cheese, and pickle was
It works.
really good.
It's pickle square or pickle pinwheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, we would do a slice of American cheese and ham and wrap it around a pickle and eat it. And so people have been doing this, I guess, for a long time, but you can fit more in there if you just cut the pickle open. But I probably did it with a pickle spear, I'd imagine.
Put fried pickles inside of a pickle.
Oh my God.
Well, something that would happen right around the same time as this episode of Raw, Rushmore would come to theaters the previous weekend.
I know it's a lot of people's like favorite Wes Anderson, and I always kind of enjoyed Bottle Rocket more, which is weird.
I think it's because this one was more publicized. Like Bottle Rocket was more of an indie darling, and then Rushmore was the one I remember seeing the previews for constantly because of the Bill Murray.
Yeah, I saw Bottle Rocket after I'd seen this.
Yeah, I saw Bottle Rocket after Rushmore as well.
Yeah,
Rushmore was my first experience with Wes Anderson, but I agree that I do like Bottle Rocket more. But this movie is, I mean, it's the film debut of Jason Schwartzman, so it's the first time
Oh, it's his first film?
Yep.
it's the first time we've seen him on screen.
First time Bill Murray was working with Wes Anderson. First time Wes Anderson's working with stars, because he had the brothers, but they're all from like Austin, so they're just like friends. They were
friends.
yeah.
So
Brian Cox is in this one too.
this one's very, very good. Like they're like,
Yeah, it's good.
even though I've just said that Bottle Rocket, I like it better. But
This is by
this
no
one-
means the bottom of the barrel
No,
for Wes
this is-
Anderson.
Oh no.
This is still top tier Wes Anderson, in my opinion.
Yeah. What's your favorite?
Probably Life Aquatic. Grand Budapest is probably his most
Acclaimed at this point?
is the one that I would probably tell anyone that hasn't watched a Wes Anderson movie. If they wanted to watch one, watch that one first, probably. That or Rushmore, probably, would probably be the two that I would probably give someone first.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But
I gotta look all up.
Life Aquatic and Moonrise Kingdom and Asteroid City are probably near the top of my list.
Yeah. I would put Royal Tenenbaums and Life Aquatic towards the top. I like the sad old guy Wes Anderson movies. I also like Darjeeling more than a lot of people do, which I think I just like it when he's going full on sad. I think my least favorite is probably French Dispatch, Isle of Dogs, and maybe Moonrise. It's not one that I really. But I like that one more than Isle of Dogs or.
I mean, French Dispatch,
Dispatch.
and Darjeeling, I think would probably be considered his bottom two by most people.
Oh yeah. I mean, I agree with the
I'm not
French
saying
Dispatch.
and,
Yeah.
and when your bottom two are still films that are very good,
Yeah.
Dude knocked it out his first few films.
you've had a very accomplished career.
Yeah. The thing with him is that like he has a thing, and if you don't like that thing, then you're just not going to like it. But he's not really offering up a like new vibe because it's so specific that you either vibe with it or you don't, kind of thing. Like Rushmore and Bottle Rocket are lighter on that because he hasn't really established that thing yet.
Yeah,
and then you start to see
He
it.
doesn't really find it until Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah, you start to see it. Royal Tenenbaums, it happens, and then Life Aquatic, I'd say he basically concretes it.
Yeah.
And then from there, you're kind of getting.
Though I think that's why I'm saying Grand Budapest Hotel is probably out of his newer, like that new aesthetic that he has.
Yeah.
Grand Budapest Hotel is the most accessible for new people.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yep. I remember seeing Rushmore in the theaters. I was convinced that Bill Murray was going to win an Oscar that year because I thought he was great in it. Still got robbed of a nomination, but he got a Golden Globe nomination, and that was kind of his next level elevation.
Is this Murray's like first like
drama
comedy
dramedy
since Groundhog Day?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you that.
Because like I know he stepped away from doing comedies there for a minute.
Bill Murray.
I guess he did Kingpin and Space Jam.
Oh yeah.
And there.
Charlie's Angels.
Larger than life. I mean, so I guess he did a few things, but nothing that was major.
No.
Because I can remember he was in Wild Things.
Oh yeah.
See, I just scrolled past that and I had to stop and think. I'm like, wait a minute, he was in Wild Things? The Man Who Knew Too Little. That was horrible.
Yeah, knew Too Little. You know those.
But he was, he was playing small roles. And in Rushmore, he's not like the lead, but he's in a good amount of it. It's not like a cameo performance. Because even in Kingpin, like he's in the movie, but he's not like a lead character.
No, he's the antagonist.
Yeah, but he disappears for a lot of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see the new Wes Anderson one. I liked Asteroid City a lot more than the French Dispatch.
Is the new one that starts with a P?
Phoenician Scheme.
Phoenician.
And he has a kind of a new cast.
Yeah, because he brought Tom Hanks into the fold on the last movie.
Mm-hmm. But he only has like one scene in Phoenician Scheme.
Oh yeah,
it's basically Michael Cera, Benicio del Toro, and Mia couple, something like that. It's Kate Winslet's daughter.
Okay,
yeah.
I would not have.
Yeah, I haven't even seen a trailer for it. I've seen like clips of the trailer where I'm like, oh, that's.
It's basically the three of them, or the three major characters, and then a variety of other Wes Anderson actors show up. And
I mean, the Benicio del Toro part of the French Dispatch was the best part of that, the best segment of that movie, to the point where I'm like, you could have fleshed this out into like one movie that would have been fun. But I do like the idea of Benicio del Toro working with him more, because I think he did a good job and kind of fit right in. But
well, let's talk some Monday Night Raw.
Do it.
WWF Attitude Package begins to play, followed by highlights from the previous few weeks. We get the words September 5th on the screen, where Mr. McMahon guarantees that Stone Cold will no longer be champion. And we get Breakdown, and Kane and Undertaker double pin Austin, with Vince running off with the belt. Stone Cold then arrives the next night on Raw on a Zamboni, attacking McMahon after being told there will be
no rematch.
And then last week, Austin finds Mr. McMahon's hospital room and beats him down once more, before Jim Ross narration says that Stone Cold's rivalry with the boss is out of control.
The bedpan heard around the world.
So why has Vince invited the rattlesnake here tonight? Has he lost his mind? Or is it a trap? And we go to footage from earlier in the evening, where we hear a car horn honking on the other side of a garage door, followed by it raising to see McMahon arriving to the building in a Corvette.
A nice brand new white Corvette.
And the Stooges meeting with a wheelchair to get Vince transferred over, telling them to make sure Austin has entry to the building as he motors away, complaining that it should go faster when we go to commercial. Little motorized wheelchair, just scooting away. When we come back to our first match, the New Age Outlaws of Road Dogg Jesse James, Badass Billy Gunn, versus LOD 2000 of Road Warrior Animal and Droz with Road Warrior Hawk for the WWF Tag Team Championship. And JR welcomes everyone to the show at this point. He's joined by Jerry the King Lawler as the champions came out first. Foreshadowing. But it's just to do their usual shtick, along with Gunn saying there's been many questions about if he was leaving DX, with him having the past few weeks to think about it, And the answer is...
Oh, here we go.
If you're not down with Generation X...
Suck it!
Yeah. And Hawk joins commentary, claiming he's sober, that he was addicted to pain pills from all the injuries over the years, as Lawler taunts him.
He asks if he can smell his breath.
It's like Jake the Snake all over again.
Yeah, it's kind of putting him through the ringer here.
James and Drozdov started off with back and forth action, as Hawk continues to say he has to reestablish himself, when Droz nails a power slam and brings in Animal. And Road Dogg rakes the eyes to change the momentum, tagging in Badass, only for the Road Warrior to hit a leaping shoulder tackle and go for a hip toss, which Gunn counters into a DDT. And Animal's taken down by a drop toe hold, followed by a shimmy shake knee drop from James, and a shimmy shake leg drop from Badass. And all of a sudden, the Disciples of Apocalypse run down to beat down Hawk, bringing LOD over to save their partner, leaving the Outlaws all alone in the ring, when the Headbangers would run down to break a boombox over the head of Road Dogg. And Ross and King make sure to let us know that it wasn't a JVC boombox.
They're indestructible.
That's right.
Unbreakable.
So we haven't seen the Disciples since Fully Loaded in Your House, episode 313. And Gunn chases them off as the brawling continues on the floor when the bell rings for a no contest.
Thanks for coming.
Yep.
And officials rush in to break it up as Badass checks on his partner inside the ring, who's busted open.
He is also not made by JVC.
Jarrett and Lawler then talk about Mr. McMahon's invitation to Austin tonight. And Vince finally made it back to work on Friday. You know, he's been in the hospital because of the broken foot. And all hell broke loose, including stripping Triple H of the Intercontinental Championship. So tonight, there's a tournament with a winner crowned by the end of the show.
Hey, that's fun.
That never happens.
And that entry occurred during the ladder match at SummerSlam with him and Rock.
Yeah.
But he would still need a few more months to heal after this, so they stripped him of the title.
Sorry, Sonny boy.
We then see McMahon and the Stooges in his office, where they're watching a feed of people arriving in the back as we head to break. But we come back to our second match. Steve Blackman versus Ken Shamrock in a first-round matchup of the WWF Intercontinental Championship Tournament.
Who you got your money on?
So we get footage of Blackman saving Ken from an attack from Owen Hart and Dan Severn a couple of months ago, only for Shamrock to deliver a belly-to-belly suplex in thanks. So Steve responds with one as well. Guess these guys are still mad at each other from a couple months ago.
I gotta do anything to make it interesting. It's round one of this evening tournament.
Ken don't need his help, damn it. He's the world's most dangerous man.
So King goes right after Blackman with knees, but Steve answers back with kicks to take down his opponent before a drop toe hold and a back elbow for a 2 count. And Blackman goes for a Hurricanrana, only for Shamrock to catch and counter into a power slam, followed by working the leg of Steve. And a reversed whip sends Ken to a corner where he charges out into a clothesline from Blackman before a leaping shoulder tackle. And Steve looks for some ground and pound when Shamrock would reverse into a leg lock for the submission and the win.
Quick work.
Post-match, the Blue Blazer runs in, kicking Ken in the head, stomping on Blackman, followed by running off when Shamrock lets out some frustration by applying an ankle lock to Steve as officials try to break it up. And we haven't seen the Blue Blazer since WrestleMania 5, episode 28.
Craziness.
I know, it's wild. I was like, how many times have we seen the Blue Blazer? And I'm like, maybe it was just WrestleMania 5.
That might just be the one time.
Wow.
I think we only saw him with Coco like once or twice too.
Yeah, because Coco suddenly became the Anvil. Well, no, the Blue Blazer wasn't there. Owen was. My bad.
Yeah, but yeah.
But
I feel like considering
High Energy became the New Heart Foundation very quickly.
yeah, Coco's one of those guys that I feel like we didn't see a whole lot of, even though he was like, he is a memorable guy. He just, was probably
the lovable loser.
Yeah. I think he was probably just used on television more than pay-per-view.
He was there for the debut of Raw. First match.
Oh.
Right. So Vince is seen watching in the back again when the Undertaker would walk into the building as we go to commercial. And when we come back, Val Venis and Terri Runnels are hanging out on some steps.
How are they breathing?
Heavily. Hornily.
JR then sends it to a video package on Goldust with Lawler narration. The bizarre Goldust, a superstar whose name beckons controversy. But don't let his trademark machinations fool you. This man is lethal in the squared circle. Razor Ramon found that out at the 1996 Royal Rumble. And we get highlights of that match before returning to narration from Ross. And after dismantling Razor Ramon for the Intercontinental title, Goldust then focused his fury on Rowdy Roddy Piper in a showdown at WrestleMania 12. See those highlights. Followed by more JR narration saying, he's been gone for over 5 months, but tonight he has promised you will never forget the name of Goldust.
It's crazy that he's been gone for 5 months. I guess
I thought it was longer than that, honestly.
it felt like too long, but yeah.
I guess maybe he's had 5 months of just being Dustin Runnels.
Well, he was also the artist formerly known as
Oh,
Goldust.
that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot he had to go to
Kafka, as you so eloquently put it over the string of episodes. That was a bizarre. I mean, Goldust.
Even more bizarre
Yeah,
than regular Goldust.
yeah. He was wearing like the thongs on the outside of his clothes and
Brian
stuff.
Pillman leaving really got to him. It all went downhill from there.
Yeah.
More so for
I say leaving,
Brian Pillman.
you know what I mean, leaving us.
Yeah, leaving this mortal coil.
So we go to our third match. Val Venis with Terri Runnels versus Marvelous Marc Mero with Jacqueline in a first-round matchup of the WWF Intercontinental Championship Tournament. And Venis greets the fans,
Hello, ladies.
saying that Big Valboski is a lot like a clock. You stick 2 hands and a face on it, he'll tell you exactly what time it is.
Oh.
And Jackie actually has a belt
Hey.
around her waist on the way out this time.
Where'd you get that? She used to go pull it out of the trash over in
Probably
Atlanta.
finally
It's
got
not a
it
little
made
pink
for her.
belt.
No, it's not pink. She got a
That's right.
reface.
This-
She was like,
this-
I'm not wearing pink.
This one's got some attitude
Yep.
to it.
And our competitors exchange arm work and strikes when Venis would charge out of a corner with a clothesline, only for Marc to counter it into a drop toe hold before going for a clothesline of his own, which Val counters into a drop toe hold and more arm work. Mero escapes but runs into a power slam, knees, and a double underhook suplex for a 2 count, followed by Venis telegraphing his move, allowing Marc to deliver kicks and a DDT for a near fall. Mero continues with a back body drop, as JR mentions someone has arrived backstage that has created quite a stir.
Uh-oh.
So Lawler asks who it is, but Ross doesn't know, while Marc nails a Samoa drop. And both ladies get on the apron, with Jacqueline distracting the ref and Runnels distracting Mero, which gives Val time to recover to hit a fisherman suplex for the pin and the win. Post-match, Jackie assaults Terri on the outside until officials, Venis and Marc, pull them apart as the crowd chants for Sable.
Poor Terri. She's just standing there.
At least she didn't get thrown around like a rag doll. She
True.
has been the last few times.
Yeah. And we all know that Jackie could do that.
At least China just picked her up and bear hugged her.
JR then shows us a tournament bracket that only shows the matches that we've seen so far.
So
Because
Cool.
Because, as JR says, we're in the dark as well. We have no clue who's on this tournament.
Yeah.
He says that multiple times.
Pat Patterson was booking it 30 minutes before the show, I guess.
It's like, who's hanging around? Yeah, Val.
Val, get out
there.
Mm-hmm. If anything, it was probably more of what they said to Blackman. They're like, go stare at the lights.
Rawson sends it to a video showing who arrived earlier. It was Paul Bearer.
Oh.
And we go to McMahon's office, where he and the Stooges are wondering why Paul would be here as we go to break.
Because you guys pay him to be here.
And we come back to Michael Cole, set to interview Sable in the back, when she runs off all of a sudden to attack Jacqueline, dragging her back out in front of the crowd, where they brawl for a moment till officials could pull them apart.
There's only a couple of them. And
Jackie cut her hair the last time I saw her.
She's walking around with her blonde hair braided into her own hair.
Yeah, and
Those are my extensions.
Jackie's got a belt.
We go to commercial, coming back to a replay of what we just saw before going to our fourth match. Mankind versus Mark Henry in a first-round matchup of the WWF Intercontinental Championship Tournament. And we get sent to an interview Michael Cole did in the Boiler Room earlier, where Foley is asked if he's angry about Ken Shamrock leveling him with a chair recently. Mankind responds that Ken doesn't swing a chair hard enough to hurt him, that it was the weakest he had ever taken, so he's not really concerned about his match at Judgment Day. And if he doesn't like it, he's got one word for him.
Socko! And the crowd goes wild because for that 1 second, 2 weeks ago, Mr. Socko becomes a thing that Mick Foley will never escape.
Nope.
Socko is not brought up as much as it was for a long time, but it is still very much tied to the legacy of Mick Foley.
When he does appearances, he has Socko with him.
Oh, I bet.
I wonder if Socko gets his own pictures at a different price.
It's a very funny idea.
I don't think he does.
Very
I hope
funny
not.
idea.
I wouldn't see him doing that. I mean, Foley himself doing that. I could see.
He has all three. He usually has the Mankind shirt over the Dude Love shirt, and then
nice day.
and then Socko hanging around, so you can choose which
the
persona you want to picture with.
I bet he doesn't overcharge.
I'm not for sure. I have an autograph from him, but I wasn't there to get it. It was got for me by a friend of mine at the Comic-Con.
I feel like he's too nice of a guy.
Yeah,
He's the kind of guy, like, he famously, obviously, his brain should be melted, but he purposely keeps himself busy doing those, like, talking tours and stuff like this just because he knows that he has to keep his brain active because he knows what he's put his body through. But I have a comic book that's signed by him that my friend got in a, like, 20 comics for $10, like, package, and he grabbed it because he saw something in there that he wanted, and there happened to be that in there, and it just had a signature on it. I was like, that's funny. It's like, I think a Mick Foley signature might be one of the easiest signatures to get on this planet.
So as Mark makes his entrance, we are sent to a video of him reciting a poem. China, to see you smile is like watching the sun rise. The more it happens, the brighter the sky. On a wish and on a dream that you feel the same, I await the time, travel the distance, take my chance and be persistence. My only wish is that we have the best. I give all of that if I could only have one chance.
It's not a too conventional rhyming scheme, but it's cute.
Something.
Yeah.
Mark
Now,
Henry just, like, has a very likable and charming vibe. He just seems like the kind of guy that you want to get lunch with.
Now back in the arena, our competitors trade blows in a corner when Chyna would make her way to ringside, only for Henry to nail a clothesline, a gorilla press slam, and a splash onto the ankle of Foley. And Mark keeps working the leg before heading to the second rope for a splash. But Mankind avoids and fires up with strikes and a double-arm DDT. Foley then removes a shoe, takes his sock off, and puts it on his hand. making it Mr. Socko and locking on the mandible claw, causing Henry to pass out for the win.
Now, who got the bigger pop? Because China got a really big pop. China or Mr. Socko?
Mr. Socko.
Mr. Socko.
Post-match, China rolls into the ring, wanting to know what Marc wants. But Henry just leaves her, looking perplexed in the ring.
He just wants a chance. Didn't you hear the poem, China? Weren't you back there waiting in Gorilla for your cue?
We then get video from the back, where we see a cement truck arrive with Stone Cold behind the wheel as we go to commercial.
Yeah, you guys should know, you almost got cement mixers tonight.
Oh, what's that?
It's
Probably a drink that...
It's a cloudy shot. Yeah. It's very chunky. It's like Bailey's and something, I think. I can't remember exactly what's in it, but yeah, I want to say
it's
curdles.
bad because it's...
It curdles and it becomes very
not very
chunky on the palate.
Oh, that sounds awful. Well,
yeah.
Thanks, Shane.
Yeah. It's like that brain hemorrhage shot almost all over again, just something different.
I don't know my shots, I guess.
We had that one.
Okay. I don't remember that one either.
We come back to Michael Cole trying to interview Austin, only for Stone Cold to tell him to get out of there. And we go to Vince's office, where the Stooges say they will go check it out, with Sarge tripping and landing on McMahon's hurt leg.
I got a kick out of that. I thought it was funny, and that was the intention, so, good job, guys.
Bailey's lime juice.
Oh, yeah, that would make it curdle.
Yep.
Me and my friends made up a shot once because there was nothing around, or it was vodka, and then we dropped hot sauce into it, and it just floated inside of it. We squeezed a lemon on it, and we called them flaming abortions. But anytime you took it, wherever the hot sauce hit your mouth, because it's a shot, so it might hit the back of your throat or part of your tongue, and and then that would burn for a little while.
So we go to our fifth match, Double J, Jeff Jarrett, versus X-Pac in a first-round matchup of the WWF Intercontinental Championship Tournament. And we get footage from the Breakdown home video where Jarrett's head is shaved by the Headbangers, X-Pac, and Finkel in the back, followed by a chair shot that Double J delivers to the Kid later in the evening.
There's piss in my boot. The Jeff Jarrett pull string toy.
Don't piss me off. Just piss on my boots.
So Jarrett attacks immediately with a clothesline, stomps, and turnbuckle smashes before whipping X-Pac hard into a corner that bounces him back into a back body drop. And the Kid responds with a spinning heel kick and a leaping clothesline, followed by heading to the top, only for Double J to meet him there, but Jarrett gets knocked down to the mat, allowing X-Pac to fly off with a somersault senton, which Double J avoids. The Kid then counters a figure four into a cradle for a 2 count. Jarrett answers back with a clothesline and a power slam for a near fall. Double J whips his opponent into a corner again, charging in, only for X-Pac to move in time, kicking Jarrett down, but inadvertently clipping the ref as well.
Ref bump.
And the Kid goes for the Bronco Buster, only for Double J to have his boot up to find that X marks the spot.
I love the angle of this spot. It always looks so brutal. I understand how they do it, but it just looks like you're getting a heel in your balls, and everybody can relate to. Not everybody, about half the population can relate to how bad that would feel.
Jarrett rolls out and finds a guitar case under the ring. But when he opens it up, there's no 6-string. Just head. Which bewilders Jarrett, giving the Kid the opportunity to roll up Double J for the pin. And the win.
I will say, I did get a kick out of that too.
Post-match, Al Snow runs into the ring to grab Head and heads into the crowd, leaving Jarrett staring him down.
Much better than the lotion bottle or whatever it was, where they what did they put?
The head on the bottle of Head and Shoulders.
Yeah. Oof. It haunts my dreams.
Yep.
We go to the back where Austin drives the cement truck next to Vince's Corvette.
Uh-oh.
He lowers the pouring arm and releases wet cement into the convertible as Mr. McMahon watches on from his office. And the windows bust from the pressure as the cement pours out of the car while Stone Cold begins to head towards the ring as we go to break.
How did they do these 3 Raws, just one after the other, with all these fucking memorable moments in them?
Because you got the
wild.
Greatest heel and relatable babyface in American wrestling history, and got good ideas. I don't know. I don't remember it as being back to back like this, but
that's the thing.
But this is
I never thought that they were back to back to back.
Yeah,
I mean, I watched them back then, but over the years, I forgot that they happened just 1 week after the next.
I mean, this is how you become the only
show in town.
The only show in town for decades. The filling it up to the point where, because the top's down, but the windows are up. But the glass break, so beautiful.
Yep.
Just to overfill it. It's like, this is how confident and how much better WWF is doing now than they were just a few years ago, is that they completely ruined a brand new Corvette with cement. They didn't fill it a little bit, which it still would have been completely fucked, but like it's overflowing outside of it, and that makes all the difference in how much better this moment
And it just made me wonder, how much did they continue to let it go? Because it was already looking like it was, mid-tire level as it was trying to slowly spread out. And that's a whole lot of mess to clean up.
Yeah, as soon as they cut that, they're like, all right, let's get some B-roll and clean up.
We come back to the WWF Rewind, where we see the footage from before the commercials. Must have been a slow week in the Fed. And the glass breaks, with Austin making his way to the ring and grabbing a mic to say he doesn't like being screwed over. So he's going to make Vince's life a living hell. Stone Cold continues this Sunday. He's glad to put on the striped shirt, as he would make a damn good ref. But after those 2 big bastards beat each other up, the only hand he will hold up will be his own. And there's nothing McMahon can do about it. Vince then wheels himself out, with Austin telling him to come on down, when a hooded police officer and some canine units come out to protect Mr. McMahon. And Stone Cold acts like he's going to go after the dogs, but he backs down, as Vince chastises him for destroying his property. So he forces him to team with The Rock versus the Brothers of Destruction. And McMahon also warns Austin that he better watch his back, because life has been hell for him the past few weeks, when the crowd chimes in to call Vince an asshole.
Asshole.
Vince then recaps the past 2 weeks before saying payback will occur this Sunday, because if Stone Cold doesn't raise the hand of a new WWF champ, he will be fired.
Hard.
I think that's where Donald Trump got his catchphrase.
He has all the best catchphrases. Something like that. I don't know. I don't even want to try and pretend to talk like him.
Yeah. I don't like the guy, but he is funny.
Something.
He's something.
Austin doubts McMahon has the balls to do it, only for Vince to say his balls are the size of grapefruits. So Stone Cold will be picking seeds out of his teeth.
Damn.
It's just a disgusting image right there.
And Austin continues to glare down Mr. McMahon and the canine units as Vince leaves to the back while we head to break. And we come back to our commentators who discuss Stone Cold's situation, followed by heading to our 6th match. Venis with Terri Runnels versus Ken Shamrock in the semifinals of the WWF Intercontinental Championship Tournament. And Ken runs out during Venis' entrance to attack from behind, tossing him into the ring steps and slamming Val's head into the steel. And the match officially begins once inside the ring, where Shamrock continues the punishment with hard whips, clotheslines, a body slam, and a camel clutch. But Ken releases the hold to choke Venis on the ropes, working the back momentarily when Val would fire up with a big boot, only to run into a clothesline to be taken back down for a 2 count. Shamrock delivers a vertical suplex for a near fall before going to a Boston Crab, forcing Venis to crawl his way to the ropes. But Ken pulls him back to the middle of the ring, leaving Val to struggle to make the ropes, when Shamrock would lose his leverage, allowing Venis to break the hold. And Ken keeps working the back, when Val would answer back with multiple knee lifts and a side Russian leg sweep, followed by a pair of elbows for a 2 count. Venis would whip Shamrock, who ducks a clothesline and dives at the leg, clipping his opponent, before applying the ankle lock for the submission and the win.
Fun stuff. I love Shamrock.
Post-match, Terri comes into the ring to check on Val when Goldust would come out, sending Runnels running. And the Golden One hangs Venis in a corner to kick him right in the big Valboski, followed by crawling towards Terri, who's cowering on the floor.
Uh-oh. Daddy's home.
We then see The Rock waiting to be interviewed before going to the loading dock where Mr. McMahon and the Stooges are looking at the Corvette. And Mankind arrives and begins to dig through the mess to hopefully find the keys and briefcase as we head to break.
He's already working that brown nose and angle.
And we come back to Rocky and Michael Cole in the back, where The Rock brags about beating Kane and Undertaker before, but he does have a problem with being Austin's partner. D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry then interrupt, asking if Rocky's too good for them, with The Rock telling him to bring their candy asses outside, and they will talk about it.
Rudy Poo. Dissension in the nation.
Dissension in the nation?
Yeah.
At this point, I feel like the nation isn't even a thing anymore already.
I mean, it basically isn't.
Yeah.
It's all because of China. Had she not sexually harassed Mark Henry, the nation would probably still be standing today.
Yeah. She woke something in the world's strongest man's minds.
The sexual chocolate.
Him and Tony Schiavone need to fight over China on a pole match between Tony Schiavone and Mark Henry. I don't know if you know this, but Tony Schiavone's always had a crush on China.
I did not.
I didn't know this either.
I don't remember where I heard it, but yeah, supposedly he always liked the cut of her jib.
Like original China or after all the surgeries China? I'm kind of curious.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I've only heard him talk about it.
I always knew he was a Medusa guy, but
yeah, her jib was
I'm more of a Medusa guy.
much more strong back in the day. So
yeah, I'm not sure exactly. I've just heard him say that in an interview within the last 5 years or so.
Huh.
Interesting.
And I guess it's not as well known. I think it was just one of those things that you don't forget once you hear, because it's just you assume that I guess you would have seen the other product or whatever, but it's just not something you would assume from Tony Schiavone to be talking about.
So we go to our 7th match. Mankind versus X-Pac in the semifinals of the WWF Intercontinental Championship Tournament. And we get footage from each man's matches from earlier in the evening, followed by the Kid making his way to the ring with a limp. And Foley hits a back suplex, turnbuckle smashes, and strikes to take control before whipping X-Pac to a corner, only to charge into a spinning heel kick. Mankind recovers to toss the Kid to the floor, where Foley sends him into the ring steps and grabs a chair until the ref talks him down.
Yep, the ref just pulls that chair away. They're so flighty. You never know what they're going to do, these refs.
Foley charges in again, this time receiving big boots, followed by a spin kick to knock him down in a corner, allowing X-Pac to hit the Bronco Buster. Mankind's up immediately and attacks as the Kid celebrates, delivering a heel toss and a running knee lift that sends X-Pac back to the floor. And Foley rolls out to nail a swinging neckbreaker as Ken Shamrock makes his way to ringside, where the Most Dangerous Man grabs the chair to smash Mankind's ankle, leaving him in pain, where he backs into the Kid to roll him up for the pin and the win. Post-match, Ken jumps in the ring and he assaults X-Pac with strikes and a belly-to-belly suplex before tossing Foley out of the ring. And Shamrock continues the punishment with a figure 4 head scissors on the kid as officials come out to break it up. And Mankind asks if he's going to help when the Stooges arrive to lead Foley to the back, while Ken finally releases the hold as we head to commercial.
I hate to hear a Shamrock sucks chant.
We come back to Triple H out on crutches, checking on his friend, while Shamrock continuously stomps away with the ref asking if he still wants to go. And Hunter convinces Mike Chioda to let the kid go. So he rings the bell for our 8th match. X-Pac versus Ken Shamrock in the finals of the WWF Intercontinental Championship Tournament. Shamrock with stomps, DDTs, elbow drops, and turnbuckle smashes, while Triple H has joined commentary. And the kid fights back with chops and strikes, only to be taken back down by a clothesline and a hook kick. And Ken drops X-Pac on the ropes throat first, followed by dragging him to the apron for forearms across the chest, and chokes, as Hunter reminds everyone that he is still the IC champ, that it doesn't matter about the 30 days clause and the legal mumbo-jumbo.
Sure, whatever you say, buddy.
Yep.
If you can't defend, you can't be champion.
Now back in the ring, the kid ducks a clothesline and hits a spin kick and a spinning heel kick, stomping his opponent into the corner to deliver a Bronco Buster.
That's what happens when you get stomped in the corner by one Sean Waltman.
X-Pac goes for a roundhouse kick, which Shamrock catches and counters into the ankle lock, forcing the kid to crawl to the ropes to break the hold.
Quickly.
Only for Ken to pull him back to the middle to reapply for the submission and the win. And no! Post-match, Hunter and Shamrock stare each other down momentarily before Mankind comes running back out with a chair that sends Ken bailing to the back as we go to break. But we come back to our 9th match. Kane and Undertaker versus The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And we get to see the footage of the Corvette having cement poured into it once again, followed by Stone Cold's entrance, where the competitors stare each other down until a Pier 6 breaks out. We see Rocky clothesline Taker down, while Austin sends the Big Red Machine out to the floor, before leaping out onto him with a double axe handle from the apron. And Stone Cold returns to the ring to team up to dismantle the dead man with a double back elbow, followed by Austin delivering turnbuckle smashes and a clothesline for a 2 count. Undertaker answers back with a leaping clothesline as Paul Bearer walks down to ringside, while Taker works the arm and slams down Stone Cold. The dead man then turns to Kane, wondering why Bearer's there.
What the fuck is going on, man?
Allowing Austin to recover and get a boot up to a charging Undertaker, followed by wrapping his leg around the ring post. And Rock's tagged in to nail a people's elbow, only for Taker to rise up in time. So Rocky stomps him back down and hits the most electrifying move in sports entertainment for a near fall.
I mean, that's a fun spot where Undertaker sits up. You have to have a certain amount of pull for Undertaker to be like, yeah, I'll sit up and you can stomp me down and get your move off anyway.
Rock sends the dead man to the ropes, catching him on his way back with a Uranagi. But Rocky sees Kane coming in, so he leaves to fend off the Big Red Machine, only to turn right back into an Undertaker chokeslam. Kane's tagged in to deliver a short arm clothesline and a falling fist, when Mark Henry and D'Lo Brown would come down to ringside, as The Rock is being hammered away on in a corner. Taker returns with strikes and chokes, bringing back the Big Red Machine to continue the punishment with body slams and a leg drop for a 2 count, as Austin yanks Kane off. And Rocky ducks a clothesline, hits a DDT, only for the Big Red Machine to be right back up to nail a clothesline and dropping the Rock on the ropes, leaving him hung out to dry, allowing Kane to jump off the top with a knee to the back for a near fall. And the Dead Man tags in to keep up the attack on Rocky, even kicking Stone Cold off the apron, leading to a ref distraction, with the brothers taking advantage to choke Rock, followed by tossing him to the floor, where the Big Red Machine runs Rocky into a guardrail. And Austin heads over to ward off Kane, but Undertaker just takes over, before returning to the ring, where Kane applies a chinlock to wear down the Rock, until he fights his way free to nail a Samoan drop and make the crawl for the hot tag. Stone Cold cleans house with strikes, back elbows, and clotheslines, while the Nation members have dragged Rocky off the apron to beat him down.
The hell?
Mark Henry splashes him like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. The running floor splash.
Austin's whip is reversed, so he runs into a big boot and falls backward into the ropes, getting himself all tangled up, allowing Taker to hammer away until Stone Cold can free himself and taking down the Dead Man with a clothesline and a Thez press. And the Big Red Machine pulls Austin off with the brothers double teaming Stone Cold, when Vince's hooded police escort runs down and wallops Austin with a nightstick, ripping the hood off to reveal the Big Boss Man.
Old Ray Trainer. He got good with the nightstick. He's flipping that shit around pretty well. Practicing in the mirror at home.
We haven't seen the Boss Man since WCW Sold Out 1998.
Oh, great show. You should all go back and watch.
Episode 291. And the 3 men continue to beat down Stone Cold as Vince and his stooges gleefully look on from the rampway as Ross says his goodbyes and we fade to black. And since this episode's not on Netflix, it means we had to sell the high seas. So we get some extra attitude. And we see Boss Man choking out Stone Cold with his nightstick, not a euphemism, as the brothers leave to the back, followed by the Big Boss Man doing the same, while McMahon rolls his way to ringside. And the Stooges get in the ring, where they slap and hit Austin, only for him to fire up with strikes of his own, delivering stunners to both Briscoe and Patterson. Now the Rock jumps back in the ring, setting them up for a double people's elbow, as Stone Cold starts giving chase to Mr. McMahon, who can't escape fast enough up the ramp. Austin yanks the wheelchair backwards, causing Vince to tumble down to the floor, followed by stomping away on him, before Stone Cold leaves to the back, while the Stooges struggle to help McMahon back into the chair, so they walk him up the ramp as we fade to black once more. So I ask you, gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts of Monday Night Raw from October 12th, 1998?
It was good. I mean, the IC stuff was the through line, and then more of the Austin McMahon stuff, which they recap endlessly between commercials, but it's a little bit lighter than the previous weeks as far as content and shit talk. But another, highlight reel moment and cement truck. It's iconic. Not as iconic as the bedpan or the Zamboni, but it still makes the highlight reel. Happy for Ken. It would have been a true bummer if X-Pac won that match. And Mankind doesn't need the belt. So,
Mankind's facing Shamrock at the pay-per-view already.
Yeah. And they told us that before Shamrock won the belt earlier in the show. So, yeah, there's not a whole lot to complain about here, I don't think. We got a lot of matches, and we got a new champion, and we're looking for another one. You can't have both the top belts with no champion for too long, so at least we got one cleared out of the way.
I guess going into the night, D'Lo Brown was the was the only singles champion in the company.
Don't forget Jacqueline.
I tried Jackie to...
but hers means less. Not to discount women's wrestling, but we haven't really seen any.
Yeah, it took me a second when you said that about D'Lo Brown. I'm like, oh yeah, he was really the only singles champ. Yeah, kind of similar to what Michael said. The show itself, it wasn't a hard watch. It's got the cement mixer nostalgia effect in there, just because I remember watching this one new, and you just didn't see anything like that in wrestling back in the day.
And so many people are over. The crowd has something to say for everybody that enters the arena, which really makes a show that much more watchable.
Yep. I mean, obviously it's 99% tournament, but for a tournament show, I wasn't mad at it either, because they had a reason. It seemed like they had a reason for putting each person where they did with who they put them against, and
they used a lot of the matches for setup of other things or furthering things.
I don't know if the news about Triple H was a surprise and they thought he was going to be healing and then all of a sudden had to have surgery instead or what, but if they threw it together on the fly, they didn't do a bad job of this, because I mean it kept you entertained, it kept the show moving, and it didn't leave you bored. There was just enough. Granted, there was flashbacks of things that happened throughout the night, but that's not necessarily a bad thing too.
That's what happens on Raw, yeah.
It's the instant replay of, in case you just missed it, this happened, and it wasn't the, like today, where they play the full 20-minute interview from the beginning of the show. I don't know if they do that today still, but for a while there they did, where it was just all a highlight reel instead of just being something you actually wanted to watch.
Yeah, this is like the Cliff Notes. Like, if you're just tuning in, this is what Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon did, because that's what everybody's most interested in. And the reason that they can get away with doing this IC thing, Intercontinental title tournament, and it being able to carry a show is because they have a roster that can support it.
Yep.
7 months ago, they probably wouldn't have been able to do this at such a successful level, but they've built people up and got things over.
And this is the go-home show before?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, even as a go-home show, it left you wondering what the hell is going to happen at the pay-per-view. So,
I mean, yeah.
solid.
We're going to have the top... the next pay-per-view has like the top 3 guys in the company all in the main event, and one of them is a guest referee. They wouldn't have been able to pull that, been able to even comfortably book that, like I said, 7 months, a year ago. But because they've, whether you like Val Venis or not, people like Val Venis. Like, everybody's either getting booed or cheered, or a combination of the two. They got a roster.
Yep.
So yes, the tournament carries the show. So there's definitely some fun matches that we get. I do feel like there was some, for a go-home show, I feel like there probably should have been a little bit more storyline progression to get us to the next Sunday, because, I mean, Undertaker and Kane are nowhere to be found on this show, and they're the main event.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't, where it's like, oh, you're going to have this IC tournament. No matter how short these matches are, it's still going to eat up a lot of time, which eats into your Undertaker and Kane. But the most important thing here is that the fans get to see stunners and people's elbow, which is why we see that, but that's for the house, because that's our extra attitude or whatever. But you got to send them home happy. Right now, Undertaker and Kane, while they have fans, they are the heels technically. So, the Tombstone isn't sending people home happy. The Stunner is.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? All right, fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up. So what's some of the best moments of this show?
I mean, for me, it's Ken Shamrock winning the Intercontinental title, just because I like him so much. But Cement Trunk, obvious. I think the Big Boss Man reveal is good and effective, and I think he looked really good. Like,
it's definitely the best shape he's been.
in
since we've
ever seen him. Yeah, he looks great, and he looks cool. Like, I think that him being the lead stooge. Because, Sarge was a big scary guy, but he's this older guy, and he's kind of goofier or whatever. But you need somebody...
You need somebody you can slap around.
Yeah, a big guy with a nightstick that can enforce it, and I think that it was really smart to bring old Ray Traynor in. So, kind of a perfect execution or place for him right now.
Stooge.
The first Mr. Socko Mandible Claw.
Yeah. That, and then the Mr. Socko at the cement car. Always made for a fun time.
Yeah, I did like that he takes the boot off and puts the sock on, because in the future he just
pulls it out of his tights.
Yeah, pulls it out of his tights, and it makes so much more sense because it's going to be difficult to get your boot off and take your sock off. There's so many things that can go wrong when in the flow of a match or whatever. But it is funny that was the original idea, and then they're like, well, this isn't obviously.
Not everybody's going to want you to take a sock off your foot and put it in their mouth.
No, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
But he's also pulling it out of his trunks too, which stinks, literally and figuratively. But I like that was the idea, and they're like, all right, we got to do it a little bit different.
The Jacqueline beating up Terri, she got in some good licks, and then that might not be the right word to use when talking about the two of them fighting each other. And then the same with Sable coming through, and I'm gonna stop this interview right here. I'm gonna go kick some ass real fast, and then proceeds to get her own ass somewhat kicked.
Head in the guitar
case.
It was funny. I mean, some of the comedy stuff on here I think was more successful than they've been on a consistent.
The golden punt to the big Valboski.
Good stuff. The
shattering some dreams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we can all agree. This is a good show.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, this is an entertaining Monday.
I could nitpick some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you have a pay-per-view quality tournament on TV, I'm not gonna be mad about it.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, some of these matches were a little bit short and had funky finishes, but it's on TV, and all those funky finishes feed into angles, so they're not really wasted.
A lot of these matchups are better than some of the King of the Rings that we've had over the last few years, and
it's a very good point.
I mean, this show did make Ken Shamrock look like them. I mean, we already know he's a badass.
Yeah.
But this show made him look like even more of a badass.
Yeah, I mean,
and a killer. I'm locking this ankle lock on you, and you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
So I was trying to remember if he was getting disqualified because he wouldn't let go of the ankle lock on Blackman at first, but lucky for him.
I mean, yeah, X-Pac can't be the Intercontinental champion right now.
Why not? He was just the European champion.
It's different.
It's hot potato.
I don't want a hot potato. I want Ken Shamrock.
How about most disappointing?
Berating of Hawk on commentary.
Well, yeah, the berating of Hawk on commentary. Just the LOD in general. I don't like this version of them at all.
Nobody does. It's not remembered fondly.
The whole Mark Henry China thing, I'm not really a fan of, because I can't remember where it goes exactly, but it just feels like it's going nowhere. And then let's build up this DX storyline with the New Age Outlaws for the last couple of weeks of, is Billy going to be here? Is he going to go? What's going to happen? And it's just I had a couple weeks off. We're all good now.
I mean, I literally think
Pat on the back.
because Triple H was going to be out longer than
I didn't think about that part of
what they expected, that they were like, oh, well, I guess we won't do this.
Also, nobody wants them to break up.
Yeah.
The crowd is
It's too soon
crazy for New Age Outlaws. They do the chant. I mean, yeah.
We haven't even made it a full 6 months since WrestleMania or the day after WrestleMania when this version of DX was formed. So it's too soon to break them up already.
Absolutely, especially when one of them's always hurt in one way or another.
I mean, going back to my point of Kane and Undertaker from earlier, literally the only storyline progression that there was in that was that Paul Bearer showed up. But it literally told us nothing.
I mean, they're just teasing that Paul Bearer will probably be on the pay-per-view. What's he going to do? But they could have done a better job of utilizing that or telegraphing his involvement.
Maybe they talk more about it on Sunday Night Heat or something.
I'm sure they do. I bet Heat does a lot of work.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I think and I didn't write it down, but I do think Jim Ross actually says during the Rock interview in the back that him and Mark Henry have a match on the pay-per-view.
He does. I have it in my notes.
But they're still technically the Nation, and then they go outside. Like,
He told us before.
You get no sense of why are they fighting. Like, I mean, obviously by the end of the show, they've attacked him, so it makes sense. But wouldn't it have made more sense to like then announce that match after they attacked him?
I mean, they do the Shamrock. They announced Shamrock Mankind before the end of the IC tournament as well.
But they had been feuding because remember at the last pay per view they were in that triple threat, and then they did the handicap match, and Shamrock and Mankind kept attacking each other instead of going after Kane. Like that one, I have no issue with. It makes sense that they're going to have a match on pay per view.
Yeah.
But Rock's over here kind of in this nebulous because he's now the number one contender, but we don't have a champion, so they need him to do something to get him on the show. But they didn't really
earn it.
Yeah.
They just they're like, well, nobody cares because it's The Rock, and as long as he's on the show, it's fine. And if it's against, a member of his faction, then that makes it at least more interesting.
Yeah. You literally said it at the beginning of the show. We've watched pay-per-view, 3 weeks of Raw, and we're going to watch pay-per-view. Where is this Mark Henry Rock? Like, where is it coming from?
Yeah.
Like, are we forgetting something?
Yeah, we're not forgetting anything other than Henry attacking Rock at the end of this match.
They have, the D'Lo and Henry have been contentious with The Rock, but not in any. But then just contentious.
We saw one other scene.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
The last 3 weeks.
It wasn't
being sort of contentious, but it was
not enough to justify Henry's actions at the end of the show.
Yeah,
not enough anyway. But maybe they had plans of doing something like that, and when you book a show that's got a tournament on it, you might run out of time and things get cut.
I guess that the plan was initially to break up DX. You can't break them up. You got to go for the next faction. So let's turn Rock face, split them.
Yeah, but I think that faction was already dead, and they knew that The Rock was moving on.
I think we all agree the Nation's pretty much dead because Mark Henry and D'Lo are still sitting over here being heels.
Godfather's already
Godfather's off.
Putting together the train.
If I remember correctly, spoilers for maybe next week. Godfather's off over on Sunday Night Heat, basically pimping hoes and
pimping ain't easy. So, especially on a Sunday.
They attack him even at some point to kind of cement the deal that the Nation is no longer a thing, basically.
Yeah, it's like D'Lo and Marc are tight, and then everybody else is doing their own thing.
Wouldn't it have made sense to show that clip, right before they interrupt The Rock?
Yeah. So that had already happened.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Or maybe it happens on the Sunday Night Heat before the pay-per-view. I'm not real.
All you're saying is sure. They could have seeded these the dissension.
Yeah,
but
like I said earlier,
small complaints,
small little nitpicks.
Yeah,
the show's fine.
Yeah,
and it's an enjoyable show to watch.
And the argument against your nitpick, which is totally justified, and I do agree with, but the devil's advocate is nobody cares. They just want to see The Rock. So, you don't even have to bother doing it. But yeah, as far as what would be best for storytelling purposes.
I'm going to be honest. I'm today years old, and I still not once have ever given a fuck about Mark Henry in the ring. So there was never a time where it was yeah, go.
I just like him because he gets funnier, and he's charming and seems like
I enjoy some of his backstage stuff, but in the ring,
no, he never puts it together.
The only time I cared about Mark Henry in the ring was that time he faked everybody out saying he was retiring, and because he actually played up the emotions good, and then I knew it was coming just because it happens too often, and then he attacked old John Cena.
So how about best performer of the night?
Kenny.
Oh yeah,
I was it has to be Ken Shamrock. 3 wins, destroying, if you want to include Mankind, destroying 4 people.
Yeah.
He's a tornado of a man, except for, I guess, tornadoes are, he's unpredictable, but he's more calculated, more intentional than a tornado. But yeah, I mean, Shamrock's my favorite in-ring guy in the company at the moment as far as like most bang for your buck. The Rock's not an incredible worker. He's a serviceable worker with incredible charisma.
Yeah.
Austin can't work like he used to.
No. But he still makes it work?
Yeah. Mick Foley is a very specific thing, but as far as a guy who likes wrestling to look like a fight, Ken Shamrock does it like the best of them.
Yep.
And how about most surprising? Is it Boss Man? Is it Blue Blazer?
It's kind of both. I mean, more Blazer for me, just because we haven't seen him in 9 years.
I'm going to say
Kind of forgot about him.
The plastic hit in the guitar case. No, but I think that Bossman was surprising, but as soon as he walked out before the mask was off or anything,
spins the nightstick.
I knew exactly who it was.
As soon as he spins the nightstick.
And then I'm like, oh, this was the era that I started watching, like probably within these last handful of weeks. So I was like, as soon as he came out, I knew who it was, and it made sense in my head.
Did you know who it was whenever he came out during the McMahon-Austin segment in the middle of the show?
Oh yeah. Okay. I knew exactly who it was because I probably watched this show and I know how he gets used and everything.
I'm trying to remember back.
Because I
remember the Dogs.
I honestly, I knew that's who it was, but like even in watching that segment, I was like, he's just kind of in the background. I think you're supposed to notice that he's there, but you're supposed to forget about him.
Yeah. And that's kind of how it was for me because I don't remember him being there. I remember the K9 dogs and whatnot, and I remember a couple of guys being out there because I remember somebody that had a mustache, but I don't remember.
He was one of the dog handlers. Yeah.
I don't remember seeing a guy in a mask, but I was also watching it while I was doing 14 other things. So either way, it was a fun surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I was kind of surprised that they gave Ken the belt because it just feels like he's been kind of done pretty, no pun intended, raw lately.
I mean, out of everybody in this tournament, it made the most sense to give it to him.
Absolutely, for sure. But I think I was more hopeful than surprised.
Now him and Dan can, high five their belts backstage.
And
then this way, because, obviously he's going to face Mankind on the pay-per-view. Mankind's a face. Once Hunter gets back, Hunter's going to be cheers and he's a face. You have that natural match that could happen.
Yeah.
If they X-Pac, Billy Gunn, Val Venis, just
there's
the numerous people that are in this tournament right here
can be
that they can just put straight into a match and they'll be fine.
Yep.
Yeah. All serviceable opponents.
Yep.
Making their way to the ring.
It's trivia time.
Uh-oh.
This week the category is pay-per-view.
Time to play the feud. Let's have it.
Pay-per-feud.
So I will give you matches from a show. You tell me what that show is.
Oh, this one.
Starts with 5 points. Goes down with each match given. So 5 points. The match is Kamala with the Taskmaster versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
It was in 1995.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember 1995. Kamala with the Taskmaster. Is Taskmaster different than Kimchi?
Yes.
Okay.
Taskmaster's Kevin Sullivan.
I'm going to guess.
Oh.
Just on a whim, because 5 points sounds nice. SummerSlam 1995.
That is incorrect.
That is incorrect.
All right.
You didn't listen to the hint he just gave there a second ago, kind of. Not really a hint, but he said the Taskmaster is Kevin Sullivan, so that makes me think we're in WCW.
But they still called him Hacksaw? I guess he was always Hacksaw over there.
He's always been Hacksaw.
Yeah. But the Kamala?
Yeah, Kamala's always been Kamala.
I'm dumb. I was like, 95 seems late for that. Well.
I'll go for the next one then.
All right. For 4 points, Diamond Dallas Page.
There we go.
With the Diamond Doll and Max Muscle versus Dave Sullivan.
Next.
It's good. WCW makes it so hard. They don't have...
For 3 points, Harlem Heat of Booker T and Stevie Ray with Sister Sherry versus the Nasty Boys of Brian Knobbs and Jerry Sags versus the Blue Bloods of Lord Steven Regal and Earl Robert Eaton in a triple threat match for the WCW World Tag Team Championships.
Damn it.
What's funny is it could be any WCW show from 1995.
So Harlem Heat, Blue Bloods, Nasty Boys, triple threat tag match. Dave Sullivan and the other guy, Diamond Dallas Page.
That other guy.
And then Kamala and Hacksaw.
You mean the inventor of DDPY?
God, I'm just... Like, part of me just wants to say Halloween Havoc, but I'm trying to remember what Halloween Havoc 95 was.
Once a 2-point match.
Yeah, let's go 2 points.
Macho Man Randy Savage versus the Nature Boy Ric Flair in a lifeguard match.
Oh, man.
So it tells me possibly we're at a beach somewhere, maybe. But don't they have a couple different beach shows? Bash at the Beach,
It had one name and then the name
Blast,
changed.
and we'll just say Bash at the Beach 95.
You got it.
That is correct.
Okay.
It was a Beach Blast, I think, for like what 88, 89,
Something like that,
and then
yeah.
it went to Bash at the Beach forever after that.
The only
'Cause
one
I
that mattered
famously-
was Ricky and Ravishing Rick.
Yeah, the show I talk about all the time because I love that match.
Yeah, I was like, we get to this 2-point match if
Yeah.
you guys don't get it.
I know. I was like, I wanted to be like, it's not Halloween Havoc because we haven't got anything stupid, any kind of.
Well, that's what I was stuck on too.
Yeah,
was
there wasn't
that
like a
the one where
vampire,
we had
a pumpkin match.
the Triple Tower of Doom or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Hogan and Savage.
And the main event of that show was Hogan with Jimmy Hart versus Vader in a steel cage match for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Was this the one that was tied into episodes of Baywatch? Probably.
I don't even remember.
No, because Sting was on that one.
Okay, yeah.
So I think we're thinking of, I think that's a year
Later.
earlier,
year 94.
or
90,
later.
it's either 94 or 96. Yeah. Oh, yeah, doesn't matter.
Next week, Judgment Day in your house.
We've been building it up for 3 weeks. Will it perform? We'll be the judge of that.
Ha!
Music from this week's show is We're All Together Now by Jim Johnston. And
Gucci
Big
sweater.
Boss Man stood tall at the end of the show.
Did he?
I mean,
What were you counting? Because they play Austin's music at the end, and then we get the extra attitude, right?
did they play Austin's music at the end?
I don't know. They play it as much
I know
as
they
can.
played it at the end of the extra attitude.
Oh, okay.
But at the end of the show,
It's just
technically
a
the bad
fade to
guys
black.
are
Yeah, the bad guys are standing.
standing tall.
And how often you get to play Boss Man's music?
Exactly.
It's like, let it play. The
I was
glass is gonna break for years.
So we're gonna play Cell Block by Jim Johnston.
Is that Bossman's like old school song?
No, it's his new one.
Okay.
I mean, the Cobb County one is great.
It is great.
I don't remember.
Probably
I
got
don't
something
know.
about hard time in it, I'm sure.
I'm sure there's probably hard times in there somewhere. If you like this episode or any of our other ones, please go out there and rate and review us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you find your podcasts at.
Where do you find your podcasts?
Do as Michael says.
5 stars or no stars. Do it for Ken Shamrock. Damn it.
And if you have any questions, comments, concerns,
Where are we going next? We're going to Rosemont, Illinois. Yeah.
Chicago.
What the hell do we bring from there? Yeah, give me some ideas.
What's the muffin shop that
the one on Drury Lane?
no, the one that Phil promoted?
The who?
What's his CM Punk
Does he have a muffin shop that he goes to?
Oh, that
from the
at All Out, where he brought muffins to the.
Okay.
and he's just eating the muffin and promotes the muffin place. I was just trying to think of things from Chicago that we haven't talked about or that I am aware of, and I think it was like Misty's Muffins or some shit like that.
Yeah, but if you've ever been to Chicago or in the Chicago area, tell me something to eat other than deep dish pizza
What
and
they eat in Blues Brothers?
I think they just went to a diner. They ate beer mostly.
That's true. I remember. It's been too long since I've watched.
Yeah, I don't even remember them eating. I remember Aretha Franklin in the diner,
Yeah.
but I don't remember much food.
Give me some ideas.
Well, John Belushi ate cocaine.
Don't bring that up. But you can send any of those things to our email at wrestlinghistoryx@gmail.com or find us on X at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTO.
X.
We'll talk to you next week.
Got some hard times. Laters.